All right, everybody, how we doing today? Welcome to A to Z Sports. We changed the name, as you can see, because we're going to cover all sports, not just football, but it is my favorite season right now, which is football season, of course. But we are going to cover all sports. We started doing that yesterday. Covered a little bit of the WNBA, and we covered some baseball yesterday, which we'll be keeping an eye on those. We're coming on the end of those seasons, so. And then we've got, hockey coming up. We've got, college softball. We've got all kinds of stuff coming up that we'll be keeping an eye on. So if there's something you want us to keep an eye on, you let me know, and of course we will get that done. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content. Right now, we got some college football to talk about. First of all, some head scratchers. Like, what's going on? What happened to Texas? They were supposed to be the team with Arch Manning at the helm. Is Arch just not his, grandpa and uncles, or is he just going through a transition, or is Texas just not there? Y'all tell me what you think. I'm not sure at this point. But Texas is definitely not there right now. They are, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know. North Carolina, Bill Belichick, supposed to be the coach, that was going to take them right to a national championship. Which, coming from the NFL to college, it's a big transition, so, maybe it's just a transition year, and he doesn't have the team that he recruited and what have you. He's coming in, fresh and all that. Kind of like, when Nick Saban first came to Alabama, it wasn't a team he recruited, and there was some losses and what have you. And then, everything came together. So that maybe next year, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it's kind of a head scratcher right now because Bill Belichick is a winning coach, period. So it's, I don't know where to go with that either. And then there's Penn State. I don't know what's going on with them either. What the heck happened? Whew. There's some wild stuff going on. And this top 25 has changed just drastically over the past, 5 weeks. So, all right, let's take a look at the top 25, see where we're at. Ohio State at number 1. They were number 1 last week. Okay. They still don't have me completely convinced, but okay, I'll live with it right now. I'm not saying they're not good. I don't want y'all to get me wrong. They're good. They're real good. They don't have me quite convinced that they're the team right yet, because last week they were given all they could be given in the first half. They played very well in the second half. But they were given all they could handle in the first half, Miami, number 2. They were at number 3 last week. I can see that as well. Miami's extremely good right now. Oregon, number 3. They were at number 2 last week. It's interesting. And then Ole Miss at 5-0 at number 4. They were at number 4 last week. And then at number 5, A&M, Texas A&M. They were at number 6 last week. Okay, so not much of a change there. Oklahoma at number 6. They were at 5 last week. Okay. Indiana, there's another one that I'm scratching my head on. They're not convincing me that they're for real yet. Yes, they're 5-0, but they're not convincing me that they're for real yet. I'm not convinced yet. But they were at number 8 last week. They're at number 7 now. Okay. Let's see what happens. We'll take a look at the games here in just a minute and see what we got this week. Bama at number 8. They were at 10 last week. Okay, they're 4-1. 5-0 Texas Tech. They were 11 last week. They're 9 this week. Georgia at 10. 4-1. They were 12 last week. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one either. They are sure not convincing me right now. LSU 4-1. They were at 13 last week. They're at 11 this week. Tennessee 4-1. They were at 15 last week. They're at 12 now. I don't know. LSU and Tennessee are. I'm just not sure whether they're going to be there at the end or not, either team. But boy, they are putting on a show right now in trying to convince everybody. And I'm not sure that they're not right now, to be honest with you. Georgia is not convincing me. LSU and Tennessee, that's a different story. You know what I mean? Georgia Tech, that's another one. 5-0. They were at 17. They're at 13 this week. That's a team that's on the rise. Big on the rise. Mizzou plays Bama this week. 5-0. They were at 19. They're at 14. And then Michigan, they were at 20. They're at 15. 4-1. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, and then we got Notre Dame. They were at 21. They're at 16. They're 3-2, so they're not convincing me right now either. But they're not playing terrible ball. None of the teams in the top 16 right now are playing absolutely horrible ball. It's just that a few of them, like Georgia, Indiana, they're just not completely convincing me right now yet that they are, the teams to be in the top, in the playoffs at the end of this thing. Where were we at? Notre Dame. So we got Illinois. 5-1. They were at 22. They're at 17. BYU. It's another team. They're showing off right now. 23. They're at 18 now. Virginia, 5-1. 24-19. And you got some climbing right now too, because Texas and Penn State are just out of this thing. I mean, they got serious work to do to come back into this thing. Wow. And then Vandy, they were at 16. They dropped to 20. Okay. First team that really dropped, weren't they? Arizona State, 4-1. They came up from 25 to 21. Iowa State dropped from 14 to 22. We'll find out about that here shortly. Memphis, they had a convincing win against Arkansas, so 6-0. They weren't ranked. Now they're in at 23. South Florida, same thing. We're not ranked. They're in at 24. They're 4-1. And then Florida State, all the way down at 25. They were at 18. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where everybody's at. Oh, shoot. Okay. Let's look at the games this weekend. Now, tomorrow we got South Florida at North Texas. Well, South Florida should take care of that pretty easily. And then Saturday we got Bama and Missouri. Bama and Mizzou. That should be a good ball game. That should be a really good ball game, as a matter of fact. Both good defenses. We'll see what turns up with that one, but that should be a handy ball game. Pitt and Florida State. Interesting. Florida State should handle that. Ohio State, Illinois. See, this is one of those not sure about, right? Ohio State being a second half team as they're showing right now. If Illinois gets way out ahead, it could be tough for Ohio State to come back on. However, Ohio State is good enough to come back. So, it could be an interesting ball game. And then again, Ohio State could get way ahead of Illinois and Illinois not be able to come back at all. So that could be a real barn burner. See what happens. Washington State, Ole Miss. Ole Miss should handle that pretty easily. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. That could be an interesting ball game to watch. Oklahoma, Texas. Oklahoma should handle that real easily right now because Texas is, well, we just talked about it. I don't know what is going on with them. Whew. I mean, that's just wild what's going on with them right now. They got some work to do. We'll just say that. Some serious work to do. Number 7, Indiana. At number 3, Oregon. That'll be a good ball game. Although, as I said, Indiana does not have me completely convinced right now. But they're not playing bad ball either. So, but Oregon is playing exceptional ball right now, so that could be a really good ball game too. We're into the meat of the schedules right now, so this could turn into a really good weekend. Iowa State, Colorado. That could be a good ball game. All right, and then we got North Carolina State, Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame should handle that pretty easily. Tennessee, Arkansas. Arkansas didn't show me much from what I've seen of them 2 games I've watched of theirs. So Tennessee should handle that pretty easily. A&M, Florida. Texas A&M should handle that. Georgia, Auburn. I ain't going to say that Georgia will handle that easily. I'm not an Auburn fan, but I'm not going to say that Georgia's going to handle that easily either. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Michigan, USC. I ain't going to say that Michigan's going to handle that one easily either, because USC can play. Although I don't know much about what USC's done so far this year. I'll admit that. I haven't seen a lot of what they've done this year. But USC's been known to play some ball, so. Texas Tech, Kansas. Texas Tech should handle that. LSU, South Carolina. LSU should handle that pretty easily. BYU, Arizona. That could be a decent ball game. And then Arizona State, Utah. That could be a decent one too. Okay. So we could have some ball games this weekend. It could be interesting to see what happens as far as a game of the week next week. I'm trying to find a way to pick a game of the week. This week's game of the week, I had about 7, right? And I had them up on the screen, and I just kind of pointed my finger at the screen and closed my eyes and went, okay. And I just kind of rolled up and down, went, got. And this is the one I hit. So, Iowa State, Cincinnati. I'm trying to find another way to do it. I'm trying to figure out if I can find a site or something that has like a wheel that we can spin that I can put, like when we've got several games like that, 7, 8, 9 games, 5, 6 games, whatever, that I can put them on there and maybe spin the wheel, like on Tuesday or something, or Wednesday, and then do the show on Thursday, spin the wheel and figure out what the game of the week will be. Maybe y'all can help me out with that and let me know. But that's the way it was picked this week, because I had about 7 games, I think it was, and I just kind of rolled my finger up and down the screen, and then, poop, I hit this one. So it's Iowa State, Cincinnati. I didn't get a chance to watch this game, but this is where we're at. So I pulled up some quick highlights on it. So let's take a look and see.
He'll motion into the backfield. And Pryor a touch and a crease. Pryor with the house call to start. And the Bearcats strike first.
Huge hole. God, I could have ran through that hole. I can't run anymore. Jesus, that hole was massive.
The play action game, and now you go back to the run. Great job by the offensive line, specifically tight end Patrick Gerd, sealing out the edge player. But the reason this play works is that they've won on the run early, they won on the RPO game, and all of a sudden Evan Pryor has the defense guessing.
I mean, I use the phrase too. That's what I always refer to. They bat it down to the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
38-yard attempt.
Yep.
And Russ
right down the middle.
Able to bang it through. After the timeout, 3rd down and 5. That's Allen, the A&M transfer in motion. Open in the flat, Sorsby the other way. Pass is caught, Joe Royer to the end zone. And a hop, skip, and a jump.
So Cincinnati jumped out early. Okay, got it. Did Iowa State come back at all? That's the question. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch this one, so those of you that did, looked like an exciting first quarter. Cincinnati jumped out quick. Let's see, well, that we do know. Anything can happen on any given day, right? Anybody can lose. We know that. But with teams like Texas and Penn State, they're not supposed to be losing right now. Not like they are. That's the head scratchers, you know?
He would be proud. Joe Royer was on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, and so he runs across the formation. The defense not only doesn't get him, but you also see a missed tackle by safety Marcus Neal Jr. Had an opportunity.
They'll have it on 1st and 10 in the red zone. Rocco Beck, how about the cut? And the maneuver into the end zone, and just like that, Iowa State on the board. Back in business.
It felt like this was the response that was needed. It's going to be a quarterback power, really 2 pullers coming back, so a quarterback counter, because there's 2 guys coming back.
He just sidestepped that, didn't he?
Pryor, the running back, on first down in the red zone. Another touch. Pryor cuts it back against the grain into the end zone. Yes!
Wow.
You want people who can do it all. Joe Royer, number 11. He scored that touchdown earlier. Look at him. That's called a stop block. Just stay on your guy just enough to let running back Evan Pryor do the rest. This is clinic real.
Pryor.
I mean, that's some nice running work. I'll admit that's some nice running work from that back. Pryor, I believe is his name. Some nice running work.
Is the running back. Sorsby will keep it. Into the end zone. He'll high step in for the score.
Some nice line work from that offensive line, too. They open up holes that I could walk through or run through, and I can't run. Jesus.
Within the friendly confines of the Big 12, and we saw this from Brendan last year.
No, nothing but green grass.
Empty backfield for Becht. He'll take off straight ahead. A-gap diving ahead, and he's there for the touchdown. Every inch was needed by the veteran quarterback, Rocco Becht.
Quarterback, 6 feet, a little over 200, taking on a linebacker, Jack Dingle.
Here's Beck, front pylon. Pass is caught. Was he in bounds with possession? Yes. Brett Eskelsen into the end zone, and his 2nd touchdown of the year.
NFL defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
It was a nice pass, too. Beck's a good quarterback, though. We do know that.
He says, man, you could have perfect coverage, but even if you have a perfect coverage, a better pass.
Trying to melt this clock down. Sorsby wants it now. Has a man, and it's
oh my God.
Caleb Goody.
What a perfect pass.
Racing to the end zone.
Talk about a perfect pass. Jesus.
2 yards. What a moment at Nippert.
Penalty. Caleb Goody is one of the fastest receivers in the nation. You're seeing the speed, the transfer from Colorado State. 6'1", 178. No, he's not the biggest guy.
Here's Rocco Becht. Wants to throw it. Got his man. It's Chase Sowell. And the touchdown for Iowa State.
Well, he likes this matchup. They call it a whip route. You go inside, you come back outside. Beautifully placed ball. And then
we'll pitch it back to Sowell. They'll send it around the horn as best as they can. And then out of bounds is Bramer. And that will do it. They're storming the field at Nippert.
So Cincinnati beat Iowa State. Okay. Nice. Well, Iowa State came back quite a bit, so that was nice to see. So they're not down and out, in other words. So that's good to see. Yeah. Y'all want to see more like this? Let me know, and of course we will get that done. That was a good game. It might not have been the best game of the week, and my finger might not have done the job right, but hey, it is what it is. Y'all let me know if y'all know of a place where maybe we can make a digital, where I can spin it. Put the names of the games on there, the 2 teams that y'all, send in. And, I can spin it, say, on, Wednesday morning or something, and then do the shows on Thursday, or, do the shows Wednesday afternoon. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. Maybe another way of doing that when we have several games that are, real big and real good. Because otherwise, if we just have one really good game, it's easy to choose a game of the week. That's simple to do. But when we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games that are really, really good, whatever conference it may be in, or out of conference, whatever, then it's kind of a little bit tougher. So, yeah, y'all let me know. All right? Other than that, I hope y'all have an absolutely fantastic one. I'll be back to talk about the NFL here in a little while. This is Old Pops. We are out.